Hey gang, Tim Farmer here. It's Tuesday morning, it's about mid-morning, it's the 8th of March, and I'm getting ready to go out, take the boat out this morning and see if we can't locate a few fish. I've been fishing for about the last 3 weeks, and what I've been doing is just beating the rock piles. A lot of you guys have seen my reports and a few pictures and things like that, so I thought maybe we'd go out this morning and make a video and see if we couldn't get a couple fish on video. One thing it's going to do is it's going to show you guys how I'm fishing these points and rocky outcroppings and things like that. But another thing it's going to do is it's going to show you guys how I'm fishing the crankbaits. A lot of times I talk about fishing crankbaits and you see pictures of fish with crankbaits hanging out of their mouths, but you never really see how it's done. So it may be a little different than what y'all do with the crankbaits. It may be the same, but I'm going to show you this morning how I'm fishing these rock piles and things like that. One of the reasons I'm fishing rock piles right now is because a lot of these fish are kind of pre-spawn and they're kind of moving towards their spawning beds. And one thing they do when they start thinking about spawning and start moving back into the pockets where they go to spawn is they kind of stage. And when they stage, they kind of stage on some points and things like that going back into their spawning ground. So they'll set up on points, whether it's rocks or mud bottom. They kind of prefer rocks because at the same time they're staging, they're eating. One of the reasons they eat is because they're hungry, obviously, and they've got to eat. But probably the main reason they're eating heavy during their pre-spawn period is because they're eating for a few thousand instead of just themselves. And that's one of the reasons they gain weight. These big females, they have to eat not only for energy for going through the stressful spawning period, but they're eating for a few thousand eggs too. So that's probably the main reason they eat so well in these rock piles. One thing that they're looking for on these rock piles is they're scavenging for crawfish. Another reason they're up there is scavenging for shad, anything that'll get up on the rocks. So what I'm going to do this morning is I'm going to get out there. I'm going to use a few different baits to try and get them. One thing that I've been using that works real good is probably my favorite bait right now, and that's this Rapala. It's a crawdad pattern, red crawdad pattern Rapala DT14. I've been using DT16s, 14s, and 10. This right here is a 14, and I've been using that with the best luck, but when the 14 isn't working and I still think they're up on the rock piles, I'm going to shift it over to a 10, and I'm going to use a 10. 10 doesn't really get down in the rocks as deep as the 14, obviously, and not as deep as the 16. But the 10 gets down there a little bit, and then once you clear about maybe 7, 8, 9, 10 feet, well, this thing is kind of a suspended bait. And sometimes they'll hit it just bringing it back to the boat, not on the rocks. So that's one of the reasons I use the 10. Another one I'm using is, this is one of mine that I make. It's a chartreuse shad pattern. I've been making that for a few years. And I've done real well with that lately. If they're not hitting the crawfish red, they'll hit this, and maybe sometimes they'll hit this and the crawfish red. If they're real hungry and feeding on the rocks, that's what they're going to hit. Another thing that I've been having pretty good luck with is a couple jigs here. Number one is a spot sticker. This is pretty big, but this is a PB&J. I think this is a ½ ounce. And I'm coupling this with this crawfish red. It's called the Texas Red Whiskers crawfish plastic. I saw that the other day in a magazine and dropped an order to Tackle Warehouse. And what I really like about this bait is not only it's a spot sticker bait, but it's got some red crawfish in it. And right now, red is the way to go. So spot sticker, red crawfish whiskers bait. Another one I'm using is Chattahoochee Jig Company. I'm doing the same thing. I like this little jig. I like the color of it. It kind of matches a crawfish this time of year. And then once again, I'm putting the crawfish red on it. So that's another one that I've been throwing up on the rocks. And man, usually when you get one on the jig, it's going to be a pretty good one. And one of the things that we like about the jig too is when the bigger bass hit this thing, you know it. They don't peck at it, they don't short strike it. They get on this thing and all you feel is a big old thump. When you feel that big thump, that means he sucked it in and you better set the hook because they can spit it back out. But I'm going to throw a few of these jigs today too. So that's a few things that I'm using. So we're going to get out there and see if we can't hit a couple of these rock piles right now. The wind is about 2 knots out of the south, southeast, something like that. Barometric pressure is so high right now, it's a wonder it doesn't bust our eardrums out. It's something like 30, 32 right now, but hopefully we can overcome that. Hopefully it's not going to bother the fish too much, and they're feeding up for their pre-spawn ritual, so let's go out there and see if we can't get one. Alright, where's what I'm using right here? DT14, that's what we're going to start with. Alright guys, about the 4th or 5th cast. What do you think of that bad boy right there? Didn't take very long. That's what you gotta do though, just get that crawfish crankbait down there on the bottom. Just kinda work it on the bottom. That's what happens. Nice bass. gotta be well over 5. Over 5 anyway. I can't get the jig out, but it's another good one on that crankbait up on these rocks. Just throwing up on the rocks. What a stud right here.